Let me not see myself as limited. 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 What is the world? What is the world? The world is false perception. It is born of error. Let us not rest content until forgiveness has been made complete. Let us not rest content until the world has joined, until the world has joined our changed perception. Let us not be satisfied until forgiveness has been made complete. And let us not attempt to change our function. We must save the world. We must save the world. For we who made it must behold it through the eyes of Christ. That what was made to die be restored to everlasting life. Let me not see myself as limited. 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 Well, thank you all so much for joining me. I'm Willie Perkins, minister of the Ozarks. Glad to join you here on Lesson 250. In A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students, we're reading from the original edition here on Thursday, September the 7th of 2023. Let me not see myself as limited. Wow, can we do that? This is our last lesson in the, call it the chapter, the 10 lessons that go with what is the world? And then we'll start what is sin tomorrow for 10 days. But today, forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. That was yesterday. Today, let me not see myself as limited. Did you after you conjured up or kind of noticed some of your aspects of yourself that suffer, and then you apply forgiveness so that it ends all suffering and loss? And now today we're reaching that place where we're to remind ourselves, I don't even need to see myself as limited to a body and subject to pain and death and decay and hurt and sickness. We can see ourselves as the inviolate spirit, invulnerable in all ways, as love, as God created us, so we will remain forever, unlimited. Let me not see myself as limited. Let me behold the Son of God today and witness to His glory. Let me not try to obscure the holy light in Him and see His strength diminished and reduced to frailty, nor perceive the lack in Him with which I would attack His sovereignty. He is your Son, my Father, and today I would behold His gentleness instead of my illusions. He is what I am, and as I see Him, so I see myself. Today I would see truly that this day I may at last identify with Him. Let me not see myself as limited. Let me not see myself as limited. In our associated reading, let's go back and look at it. What is the world? The world is false perception. It's born of error, and it has not left its source. It will remain no longer than the thought which gave it birth is cherished. When the thought of separation, the thought that gave the world birth, when the thought of separation has been changed to one of true forgiveness, will the world be seen in quite another light, and one which leads to truth, where all the world must disappear and all its errors vanish. Now its source has gone, and its effects are gone as well. So the thought that gave the world birth, when we cherish the idea of separation, but when we come to value or cherish the idea of complete forgiveness, will the world be seen in quite another light. The world was made as an attack on God. It symbolizes fear. And what is fear except love's absence? Thus the world was meant to be a place where God could enter not, and where his Son could be apart from him. Here was perception born, for knowledge could not cause such insane thoughts. But eyes deceive and ears hear falsely. Now mistakes become quite possible, for certainty has gone. The mechanisms of illusion have been born instead, and now they go to find what has been given them to seek. Their aim is to fulfill the purpose which the world was made to witness and make real. They see in its illusions but a solid base where truth exists, upheld apart from lies, the upside-down way of thinking. And we thought that it'd be a lie to think that what was coming towards me that spoke of death and suffering and pain was not real. That'd be like burying your head under the sand like an ostrich. But that's not the case. The truth is that when we refuse to see that what appears to be judgment or pain or suffering or loss or death or sickness is not real, and we stay steadfast on the realization that I'm not seeing love, therefore it cannot be real, because only love is real, only love exists. And that's what that's why we apply forgiveness then. We apply it and we say, okay, I'm going to give up what comes before me, because what's coming before me in my mind is not love. I want to reperceive it through the eyes of love and see its reality, which is wholly harmless and changeless and perfect in its ability to heal and bless and comfort. And that's what we're intent on seeing, because that's our heritage as children of God. So the mechanisms of illusion have been born instead, and now they go to find what has been given them to seek. Their aim is to fulfill the purpose which the world was made to witness and make real. They see in its illusions but a solid base where truth exists, upheld apart from lies. Yet everything they report is but illusion, which is kept apart from truth and reality. As sight was made, at least in the way we're seeing it in this world, is apart from truth, even though the ego tells us it's the other way around. As sight was made to lead away from truth, it can be redirected. Sounds become the call of God, and all perception can be given a new purpose by the one whom God appointed Savior to the world. Follow his light and see the world as he beholds it. Hear his voice alone in all that speaks to you, and let him give you peace and certainty which you have thrown away, but heaven has preserved for you in him. Let us not rest content until the world has joined our changed perception. Let us not be satisfied until forgiveness has been made complete. And let us not attempt to change our function. We must save the world, for we who made it must behold it through the eyes of Christ, that what was made to die be restored to everlasting life. What a beautiful, beautiful idea, seeing forgiveness, valuing it until it becomes complete. Okay, let's go take a look in our text reading. We're ready for, in chapter 26, the transition, section 6, the little hindrance. And we won't get through that section today, but we'll read what we can. And while you're turning there, it'll start in paragraph 30. And while you're turning there, in chapter 26, what's happening around the world today? Grandma Moses Day. National Acorn Squash Day, National Attention Deficit Disorder Awareness Day. And you know, I expect in this world we all have attention deficit disorder. And we want to learn to put our attention steadfast on truth and be at peace. And so the world will open up and we'll see what we were missing because of our lack of valuing what was real. National Beer Lovers Day. National Feel the Love Day. To feel the love, just simply value forgiveness so you can feel what's always there. Feel the no guilt, the no separation. Value love, not judgment. Feel the love day. Feel the beauty. Feel the good. Feel God. Don't let judgment steal your joy of feeling love. National Grateful Patient Day. National Threatened Species Day. I guess we all have an effect on where we live and what we do and how we live, and we want to make this world be a world where everything is blessed. Neither Snow nor Rain Day, Salami Day, and Superhero Day. Okay, and I want to tell you about an acorn squash, a Cucurbito pepo. And this is, I found this out of HudsonValleySeeds.com. Easy to grow winter squash with bush habit. Now, it'll be too late this year to plant any acorn squash, but for next year, it's kind of a good staple. Easy to grow winter squash with a bush habit. A full staple. This open pollinated acorn squash is perfect for crisp fall days. It's the first to ripen and doesn't store as long as other squashes, so it's perfect for transitioning from summer fare into fall meals. The traditional preparation includes roasting and stuffing. I know my mom used to put butter and brown sugar inside, turned upside down, and I guess she turned upside down, I'm not sure. Maybe she did it right side up and put foil over it. But I don't do it. I just cook them, and then I season them later. I turn them up, I cut them in half, pull the seeds out, wash the seeds so I can roast them, and then put the acorn squash halves upside down on a cookie sheet. That's how I do it. And then once I've got it made, I scoop it out, and then I'll either make it a savory dish or a sweet dish. Plants are smaller than other winter squash types, making it a good choice for gardens with space limitations. Well, there you go. So that's your acorn squash. And on other side NDE is Fernando Magdalena. It's 10 minutes and 47 seconds, a video, and it's entitled Man Dies from Infection, Shown the Process of the Soul and the Point of Life, NDE. I found him very uplifting, his story. Okay, let me not see myself as limited. Let me not see myself as limited. Paragraph 30 in chapter 26. And let's keep in mind today, let me not see myself as limited. And this is the little hindrance. A little hindrance can seem large indeed to those who do not understand that miracles are all the same. Yet teaching that is what this course is for. A little hindrance can seem large indeed to those who do not understand that miracles are all the same. Remember, our very first principle in miracles is miracles are how does it say it? There is no order of difficulty in miracles. A little hindrance can seem large indeed to those who do not understand that miracles are all the same. Yet teaching that is what this course is for. This is its only purpose, for only that is all there is to learn. And you can learn it many different ways. All learning is a help or hindrance to the gate of heaven. Nothing in between is possible. There are two teachers only, who point in different ways, and you will go along the way your chosen teacher leads. There are but two directions you can take while time remains and choice is meaningful. For never will another road be made except the way to heaven. You but choose whether to go toward heaven or away to nowhere. There is nothing else to choose. Nothing is ever lost but time, which in the end is nothing. It is but a little hindrance to eternity, quite meaningless to the real teacher of the world. Yet since you do believe in its reality, why should you waste it on going nowhere when it can be used to reach a goal as high as learning can achieve? Think not the way to heaven's gate is difficult at all. Nothing you undertake with certain purpose and high resolve and happy confidence, holding each other's hand and keeping step to heaven's song is difficult to do. Let's listen to that sentence again. Think not the way to heaven's gate is difficult at all. Nothing you undertake with certain purpose and high resolve and happy confidence, holding each other's hand and keeping step to heaven's song is difficult to do. But it is hard indeed to wander off alone and miserable down a road which leads to nothing and which has no purpose. 32. God gave his teacher to replace the one you made, not to conflict with it, and what he would replace has been replaced. Time lasted but an instant in your mind, with no effect upon eternity. And so is all time past, and everything exactly as it was before the way to nothingness was made. The way to nothingness. We made the way to nothingness. Oh, we're so silly. In our desiring to be separate from God, we make such silly choices. But we're learning that we only value knowing God and the way to God, which is to practice forgiveness, to see non-judgment, to see love, see God in every brother and sister you come in contact with, and there's no exceptions there. The tiny tick of time in which the first mistake was made, and all them within that one mistake, held also the correction for the one and all of them that came within the first. And in that tiny instant time was gone, for that was all it ever was. What God gave answer to is answered and is gone. 33. To you who still believe you live in time and know not it is gone, the Holy Spirit still guides you through the infinitely small and senseless maze you still perceive in time, though it has long since gone. You think you live in what is past. Each thing you look upon you saw but for an instant long ago before its unreality gave way to truth. Not one illusion still remains unanswered in your mind. Uncertainty was brought to certainty so long ago that it is hard indeed to hold it to your heart as if it were before you still. Referring to how God heals everything at the moment that healing is needed. Now we're just waiting for us to realize that we've been healed. 34. The tiny instant you would keep and make eternal passed away in heaven too soon for anything to notice it had come. I love that. The tiny instant you would keep and make eternal passed away in heaven too soon for anything to notice it had come. What disappeared too quickly to affect the simple knowledge of the Son of God can hardly still be there for you to choose to be your teacher. Only in the past, an ancient past, too short to make a world in answer to creation, did this world appear to rise, so very long ago, for such a tiny interval of time that not one note in heaven's song was missed. Wow. 35. Yet in each unforgiving act or thought, in every judgment, and in all belief in sin, is that one instant still called back, as if it could be made again in time. You keep an ancient memory before your eyes, and he who lives in memories alone is unaware of where he is. 36. He who lives in memories alone is unaware of where he is. 36. Forgiveness is the great release from time. Forgiveness is the great release from time. It is the key to learning that the past is over. Madness speaks no more. There is no other teacher and no other way. For what has been undone no longer is. And who can stand upon a distant shore and dream himself across an ocean to a place and time that have long since gone by. How real a hindrance can this dream be to where he really is? For this is fact and does not change whatever dreams he has. Yet can he still imagine he is elsewhere and in another time? In the extreme, he can delude himself that this is true and pass from mere imagining into belief and into madness, quite convinced that where he would prefer to be, he is. 37. Is this a hindrance to the place whereon he stands? Is any echo from the past that he may hear a fact in what is there to hear where he is now? Let me read that again. Is any echo from the past that he may hear a fact in what is there to hear where he is now? And how much can his own delusions about time and place affect a change in where he really is? The unforgiven is a voice that calls out from a past forevermore gone by, and everything which points to it as real is but a wish that what is gone could be made real again, and seen as here and now in place of what is really now and here. Is this a hindrance to the truth the past is gone and cannot be returned to you? And do you want that fearful instant kept when heaven seemed to disappear and God was feared and made a symbol of your hate? 38. Forget the time of terror that has been so long ago corrected and undone. Forget the time of terror that has so long ago corrected and undone. Forget the time of terror that has been so long ago corrected and undone. Can sin withstand the will of God? Can it be up to you to see the past and put it in the present? You cannot go back in everything that points the way in the direction of the past, but sets you on a mission whose accomplishment can only be unreal. Such is the justice your ever-loving Father has ensured must come to you. And from your own unfairness to yourself has He protected you. From our unfairness of ourself, God has protected us. You cannot lose your way because there is no way but His, and nowhere can you go except to Him. And the last paragraph we'll read for today. Would God allow His Son to lose his way along a road since a memory of time gone by? This course will teach you only what is now. A dreadful instant in a distant past, now perfectly corrected, is of no concern nor value. Let the dead and gone be peacefully forgotten. Resurrection has come to take its place, and now you are a part of resurrection, not of death. No past illusions have the power to keep you in a place of death. A vault God's Son entered an instant, to be instantly restored unto His Father's perfect love. And how can He be kept in chains long since removed and gone forever from His mind? Wow, that's where we want to be in awareness. We're already there in truth. Now let's just cherish forgiveness to the point where it replaces the world of separation, pain, death, and sickness. Let me not see myself as limited. Lesson 250. Let me behold the Son of God today and witness to His glory. Let me not try to obscure the holy light in Him and see His strength diminished and reduced to frailty, nor perceive the lacks in Him with which I would attack His sovereignty. Let me not see myself as limited. And the prayer says, He is your Son, my Father, and today I would behold His gentleness instead of my illusions. He is what I am, and as I see Him, so I see myself. Today I would see truly that this day I may at last identify with Him. Referring to seeing your brother as holy. Let's look at it again. He is your Son, my Father, and today I would behold His gentleness instead of my illusions. He is what I am, and as I see Him, so I see myself. I would see truly that this day I may at last identify with Him. Okay, let me not see myself as limited. Let's see, make sure we're tuned okay. little flat, but we're close. Let me not see myself as limited. Let me not see myself as limited. What is the world? What is the world? What is the world? Oh, what is the world? The world is false perception. It is born of error. And let us not rest content until the world has joined. Until the world has joined our changed perception. And let us not be satisfied until forgiveness has been made complete. And let us not attempt to change our function. We must save the world. We must save the world. For we who made it must behold it through the eyes of Christ. That what was made to die be restored to everlasting life. We must save the world. 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 For we who made it must behold it through the eyes of love. For we who made it must behold it through the eyes of Christ. That what was made to die be restored to everlasting life. Let me not see myself as limited. 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 Thank you again so much for joining me today and studying this beautiful way to happiness, to God, to self. Let me not see myself as limited.